In this video, we'll explain how to recognize when it's time to stop drinking coffee. We'll share 10 warning signs that clearly indicate you should give up your favorite beverage. Ignoring these signs can lead to kidney stones, vision loss, vascular and heart problems, osteoporosis, and more. We've ranked these signs in order of increasing severity, so make sure to watch until the end to fully understand which situations can turn your cup of coffee from a pleasure into a life-threatening risk, and what's the most dangerous. Your health is too important to ignore. Wouldn't you agree? This video is packed with valuable and practical information. So if you're ready to take charge of your health, hit the like button and let's get started. Sign 10. Stop drinking coffee if you experience constant thirst, dry mouth, or frequent urges to urinate. If your morning coffee ritual leaves you feeling unquenchably thirsty, with a dry mouth and frequent trips to the bathroom, it's time to reconsider. Caffeine, known for its diuretic effect, increases urination by 20 to 30%, according to research from the National Institute of Kidney Diseases in the United States. Along with water, your body loses vital minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, disrupting your electrolyte balance. This can place a heavy burden on your kidneys and lead to long-term issues, including the formation of kidney stones. When kidneys operate under chronic dehydration, they begin to accumulate minerals in the urinary tract, forming crystals. According to the American Urological Association, kidney stones affect over 5 million Americans annually. One such case involved Susan Park, a teacher from Ohio. Drinking 5 cups of coffee daily and neglecting her need for plain water, she dismissed her thirst as a mere side effect of fatigue. Everything changed when sharp pain in her lower back forced her to see a doctor. The diagnosis was clear: large kidney stones requiring expensive treatments and painful procedures. If you notice similar symptoms, don't ignore them. Try reducing your coffee intake to 1 cup a day, opting for herbal teas or caffeine-free drinks instead. Increase your water consumption to at least 2.5 liters per day and incorporate potassium and magnesium-rich foods like nuts, spinach, and bananas into your diet. This will help maintain your body's water balance, reduce strain on your kidneys, and prevent such issues in the future. By the way, American researchers have found that grateful people who leave likes tend to live 7 to 10 years longer on average than those who are indifferent or prone to negativity. So why not a like, and let's keep going. Sign 9. Stop drinking coffee if you notice a decline in sleep quality and feel tired even after resting. When sleep stops being restorative and fatigue becomes your constant companion, it's time to take a closer look at your coffee habits. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant that blocks adenosine, a natural neurotransmitter responsible for signaling tiredness. This effect can last in your system for up to 8 hours, even if you drank your coffee early in the morning. Research from Harvard Medical School found that 50% of people who consume more than 200 milligrams of caffeine per day, roughly 2 cups of coffee, experience insomnia or difficulty falling asleep. Over time, sleep deprivation becomes a silent enemy to your body. Chronic lack of sleep weakens the immune system, increasing the risk of infections by 25%, according to the National Sleep Foundation. Additionally, insufficient sleep disrupts the nervous system, reduces focus, impairs memory, and can trigger depressive states. These effects are often worsened by regular or excessive coffee consumption, particularly in the afternoon or evening. A patient from New York, Jane Miller, serves as an example of how coffee can undermine sleep. At 32 years old, Jane began complaining of constant fatigue and declining productivity. Despite sleeping for 8 hours a night, she woke up feeling drained. A medical evaluation revealed that her habit of drinking coffee in the evenings disrupted her natural sleep cycles. After cutting out coffee later in the day and adopting healthier habits, she regained her energy and returned to her usual performance levels. If you find yourself feeling exhausted even after a long night's sleep, try limiting your coffee intake to morning hours only. Eliminate caffeinated drinks from your diet 6 to 8 hours before bedtime. Incorporate relaxing evening rituals such as sipping herbal tea or taking a warm bath to help your body unwind and prepare for sleep. This approach will restore the quality of your rest and bring back your lost energy. Sign 8. Stop drinking coffee if you experience a sharp drop in energy a few hours after consuming it. Morning coffee might feel like a magic wand, instantly waking you up and setting the tone for a productive day. However, behind that temporary burst of energy often lurks the opposite effect, a sudden energy crash just a few hours later. Caffeine acts as a stimulant, forcing your body to rapidly use its energy reserves rather than conserving them for gradual release. According to research by the National Institute of Metabolic Disorders in the United States, 68% of people who consume more than 300 milligrams of caffeine daily experience what's commonly called an energy crash. This condition is marked by fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. The underlying cause lies in caffeine's ability to block adenosine, a molecule that regulates the body's fatigue levels. Once the caffeine wears off, adenosine levels surge, leaving you feeling drained. Over time, this pattern can lead to chronic fatigue and metabolic imbalances, particularly if the person tries to counteract the crashes with more coffee. A patient at a clinic in San Francisco, an engineer named Michael, faced this exact problem. Working 10-hour days, he relied heavily on coffee, drinking 4 to 6 cups daily as his primary energy source. After several months, he noticed feeling completely exhausted by midday. Medical evaluations revealed that constant stimulation of his nervous system had disrupted his hormonal balance and lowered his blood sugar levels. To avoid such consequences, it's important to limit coffee consumption to 1 or 2 cups a day and not rely on it as a crutch for fighting fatigue. Replace coffee with a balanced breakfast rich in proteins and complex carbohydrates, such as oatmeal, eggs, or avocado. Incorporating regular physical activity, quality sleep, and proper nutrition will help you maintain consistent energy levels without harming your health. Remember, fatigue isn't your enemy. It's your body's way of signaling when it needs care. Sign 7. Stop drinking coffee if you notice worsening vision. If your usual morning coffee has started to come with a strange sense of eye strain or a reduction in visual clarity, it's time to pay attention. Caffeine can increase intraocular pressure, especially in people predisposed to glaucoma. Research conducted by the American Academy of Ophthalmology found that consuming more than 200 milligrams of caffeine per day, about 2 cups of strong coffee, raises intraocular pressure by 10% in 50% of individuals with a heightened risk of glaucoma. Intraocular pressure refers to the force exerted by fluid inside the eye on its tissues. When this pressure remains elevated for extended periods, it can damage the optic nerve, leading to a narrowing of the field of vision and, in severe cases, blindness. Glaucoma, often called the silent thief of sight, affects approximately 3 million Americans, with nearly 10% of them experiencing vision loss, according to the National Eye Institute. One patient at an ophthalmology clinic in Chicago, Julia Hunter, suffered from a mild form of glaucoma and regularly drank up to 4 cups of coffee daily. Over several months, she began noticing blurred vision and the appearance of dark spots in her visual field. An examination revealed that the persistent rise in intraocular pressure had accelerated optic nerve damage. Reducing her caffeine intake and starting therapy helped slow the progression of her condition. If you notice vision problems or are aware of risk factors such as glaucoma, it's essential to limit your coffee consumption. Consider switching to herbal or fruit teas, which don't impact intraocular pressure. Make it a habit to have regular checkups with an ophthalmologist and monitor the health of your eyes. Your vision is far too valuable to jeopardize for the temporary satisfaction of caffeine. Sign 6. Stop drinking coffee if you often suffer from headaches or migraines. A headache after drinking coffee might seem paradoxical since caffeine is known to help relieve pain for many people. But behind this temporary relief lies a hidden trap. Caffeine works by constricting blood vessels, and when the body becomes accustomed to this effect, any reduction in caffeine levels triggers the opposite reaction, vessel dilation, which leads to a rebound headache. Research from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders in the United States shows that 67% of people who consume more than 300 milligrams of caffeine daily experience recurring headaches when they reduce their intake or quit coffee altogether. These headaches can often evolve into chronic migraines, especially when coffee becomes a habitual part of the morning or daily routine. A migraine is more than just a headache. It comes with nausea, heightened sensitivity to light and sound, and can last from several hours to several days. According to the American Academy of Neurology, about 15% of people with migraines associate their worsening symptoms with caffeine consumption. John Reeves, a 38-year-old programmer from Seattle, relied on coffee for years to manage morning drowsiness and demanding workdays. When he tried to cut back on the number of cups he drank, he began suffering from intense headaches that completely disrupted his work routine. A neurologist advised John to gradually reduce his caffeine intake, switch to decaffeinated drinks, and increase his water consumption. Within 3 weeks, the frequency of his headaches had halved, and after 2 months, they disappeared entirely. If headaches have become a regular part of your life, it's time to reconsider your habits. Gradually decrease your caffeine intake to avoid sudden withdrawal symptoms. Add herbal teas to your diet as they provide a gentle calming effect. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Dehydration can exacerbate vascular issues. A headache isn't normal. It's your body's way of signaling a problem that needs your attention before it leads to more severe issues. Sign 5. Stop drinking coffee if you feel intense anxiety, shakiness, or panic attacks. When your daily cup of coffee shifts from being a source of energy to a trigger for anxiety or panic, it's a serious sign to reevaluate your habits. Caffeine stimulates the release of adrenaline, initiating the fight or flight response that activates the nervous system. While this process is helpful in extreme situations, excessive stimulation without real danger can drain your body. According to research from the National Institute of Mental Health in the United States, approximately 35% of people with anxiety disorders report worsening symptoms linked to caffeine consumption. Rapid heartbeat and persistent worry are common signs that may emerge after just the second cup of coffee in a day. If these symptoms occur frequently, they not only reduce quality of life, but also increase the risk of developing chronic conditions like generalized anxiety disorder or depression. Constant overstimulation of the nervous system can leave your body incapable of handling even minor stresses. A case from psychotherapists in Los Angeles highlights the impact coffee can have on emotional health. Marilyn Green, a 29-year-old office manager, began experiencing panic attacks after an extended period of working under stress. Although she didn't initially associate them with coffee, it was revealed that her 3 to 4 daily espressos were a key factor aggravating her anxiety. Gradually reducing her caffeine intake and working with a psychologist helped Marilyn manage her symptoms and regain emotional balance. If you feel heightened anxiety or trembling after coffee, try replacing it with herbal teas that have a gentle calming effect, such as chamomile or peppermint. Increase physical activity, as exercise helps naturally lower adrenaline levels. Most importantly, listen to your body. It knows what it needs to achieve peace and harmony. Sign 4. Stop drinking coffee if you experience severe stomach pain or a burning sensation in your esophagus. Every sip of strong coffee offers not only a bold flavor, but also a powerful impact on your stomach. Caffeine stimulates the production of gastric acid, increasing its acidity. While this might go unnoticed by a healthy person, it can become a serious issue if you already have underlying conditions like gastritis or a tendency toward heartburn. For such individuals, coffee transforms from a morning ritual into a dangerous trigger for discomfort and pain. Research from the American Gastroenterological Association shows that regular coffee consumption increases the risk of gastroesophageal reflux by 30%. The burning sensation in your esophagus, commonly known as heartburn, is caused by stomach acid refluxing into the esophagus. If left untreated, this condition can damage the esophageal lining, leading to erosions, ulcers, and in rare cases, even cancer. About 20% of Americans suffer from acid reflux, with coffee often being one of the main culprits behind their symptoms. Take, for example, Stephen Carter, a 45-year-old bank manager from Denver who couldn't start his day without 3 cups of espresso. He dismissed his heartburn as a minor inconvenience until one night he experienced severe chest pain and difficulty swallowing. An examination revealed an esophageal ulcer caused by chronic acid reflux. Stephen had to completely give up coffee to allow his stomach to heal. If you experience burning or pain after drinking coffee, consider replacing it with gentler alternatives like chicory or green tea. Eating a light breakfast before your morning cup can reduce the impact of caffeine on an empty stomach. Additionally, adjust your diet by avoiding foods that increase acidity, such as fried and fatty dishes, to minimize flare-ups. Take care of your stomach's health. It is the foundation of your overall well-being. Sign 3. Stop drinking coffee if you feel severe dizziness, weakness, or numbness in your limbs. If you suddenly experience dizziness, weakness, or tingling in your fingers after a cup of coffee, this is a red flag you shouldn't ignore. Caffeine can cause rapid spikes in blood pressure, particularly in people prone to hypertension or vascular problems. When blood vessels suddenly constrict or dilate, it disrupts circulation to the extremities and temporarily reduces oxygen flow to the brain. Research by the American College of Cardiology found that caffeine exacerbates symptoms of dizziness and decreases blood flow to the limbs in 25% of individuals with high blood pressure. Numbness or tingling in your hands and feet can signal issues with the peripheral nervous system caused by changes in blood flow. If left unaddressed, these symptoms increase the risk of thrombosis, a condition where dangerous blood clots form in the veins. According to the National Thrombosis Institute, approximately 900,000 Americans are diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis each year, with 15% of cases linked to sudden changes in blood pressure and circulation. Emily Jenkins, a 51-year-old teacher from Texas, had long complained of mild dizziness after her morning coffee. She dismissed it as a quirk of her body until sudden numbness in her right arm prompted her to visit a doctor. Tests revealed shoulder vein thrombosis caused by blood pressure spikes and disrupted circulation. After quitting coffee and switching to gentler beverages, Emily's condition stabilized, and her health risks significantly decreased. If you notice similar symptoms after drinking coffee, it's time to reevaluate your habits. Limit caffeine intake, particularly during the morning and evening hours when your body is most sensitive to its effects. Drink more water to maintain healthy blood volume, and incorporate circulation-boosting foods like fish, nuts, and berries into your diet. Remember, your health starts with listening to your body's signals. Sign 2. Stop drinking coffee if you feel sharp chest pain, a racing heartbeat, or shortness of breath. If your heart starts pounding uncontrollably, your breathing becomes difficult, and sharp chest pain sets in after a cup of coffee, this is far more than random discomfort. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant that directly affects the cardiovascular system. It makes the heart beat faster, increasing strain on the blood vessels, especially in individuals prone to hypertension or arrhythmias. According to the American Heart Association, consuming more than 400 milligrams of caffeine daily, roughly 4 cups of coffee, raises the risk of cardiovascular complications by 25%. Tachycardia and arrhythmia are the most common reactions to excessive caffeine intake. The heart beats so rapidly that it loses rhythm, which can result in inadequate blood supply to vital organs. In severe cases, this condition can escalate to a heart attack. For people with pre-existing heart problems, these additional stresses can be life-threatening. This was the case for Daniel, a 47-year-old attorney from Boston. Believing himself to be in perfect health, he consumed up to 6 cups of coffee daily to keep up with his demanding schedule. One morning, shortly after finishing his coffee, he experienced sharp chest pain and severe shortness of breath. At the hospital, he was diagnosed with paroxysmal tachycardia, a condition where the heart beats so rapidly that it cannot pump blood effectively. Cutting out coffee, adjusting his diet, and undergoing medical treatment helped Daniel stabilize his condition. If you experience such symptoms, even after a single cup of coffee, it's a sign to take immediate action. Eliminate coffee and other caffeinated products from your diet, especially if you suspect cardiovascular issues. Consult a doctor to assess the health of your heart and blood vessels. Consider replacing coffee with non-stimulant beverages like herbal teas or chicory, which do not have the same effects on your body. Protect your heart. It's the engine of your life. And here comes the most important point on our list. Sign 1. Stop drinking coffee if you feel your bones becoming brittle or experience frequent fractures. Your bones are your foundation, and their health depends on many factors, including your diet. If you notice fractures from minor injuries or suffer from persistent joint pain, your beloved coffee might be the culprit. The caffeine that energizes you in the morning has a downside. It reduces calcium absorption in the body and speeds up its elimination. According to the American Society for Bone Diseases, people who drink more than 3 cups of coffee a day lose up to 20% more calcium than those who limit their intake. Calcium is the building block of bones, and its deficiency over time leads to a decrease in bone density, known as osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, as reported by the National Institute of Bone Health, affects 10 million Americans annually, with women over 50 at the highest risk. Fragile bones increase the likelihood of serious fractures, such as a hip fracture, which often requires long-term treatment and can significantly reduce quality of life. Take the story of Joanna, a 62-year-old nurse from Arizona. She drank up to 5 cups of coffee daily, believing it essential to maintain her energy at work. However, after suffering 3 fractures in 1 year from minor falls, doctors diagnosed her with osteoporosis. Their primary recommendation was to cut out caffeine and increase her intake of calcium and vitamin D-rich foods. If you notice your bones becoming weaker, it's time to reconsider your habits. Reduce your coffee consumption and replace it with herbal teas or hot cocoa, which can actually help strengthen bones. Add more dairy products, leafy greens, and nuts to your diet, and take vitamin D to improve calcium absorption. Your bones deserve care, and small dietary changes can help preserve their strength for years to come. Up next, check out these videos and don't forget to leave your likes and comments. I'm looking forward to them.